Recently, there's been a surprising amount of information being released about the next Battlefield game, and it's certainly exciting to see. Somehow, after two horrendous Battlefield games, DICE has managed to get the community excited about the next title. And all it took was for them to release an AI-generated picture with some helicopters in it. Don't get me wrong, initial impressions seem good, and they are certainly telling us the right things, but EA is always great at making the up-and-coming game seem like the best product to ever be created. If you've played an EA game before, you know it's never that easy. I always go back to show, don't tell. I'm tired of hearing about all these game-changing mechanics, new features that they plan to add, how they will revolutionize the industry. It's all just a bunch of corporate garbage, and it amounts to nothing. You're only as good as the last game you made, and guess what? DICE hasn't made a good Battlefield game in 8 years. Many fans have lost all faith in the franchise, while others are saying this is their last chance to prove themselves before abandoning the series altogether. I don't care how well they showcase the next game. I don't care about graphics, flashy trailers, or immersive features. My message for this video is very simple. Do not pre-order the next Battlefield game. EA and DICE need to know just how serious of a hole they are in, and just to be clear, I want nothing but this franchise to succeed beyond everyone's expectations. I want Battlefield to be the #1 game across the board because I believe this series has the potential. It doesn't matter if I'm a content creator or not. I love Battlefield at its core, as I'm sure many of you do as well. Hello everyone, if you're new here, my name is Zenna. My channel focuses primarily on Battlefield, but really I just love playing FPS games. I plan on covering Delta Force in extreme depth with gun guides, funny vehicle moments, and exciting gameplay while we wait for the launch of the next Battlefield game. So if that interests you at all, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. I want to start off by discussing some of the highlights we can expect in the next Battlefield game. All this information is coming straight from Tom Henderson and InsiderGaming.com. So it looks like for the next Battlefield game, they will be bringing back the classic campaign. From what we can tell so far, it'll be based around a private military group going up against the main NATO. This will be set across various nations worldwide, including the USA. Next up, we're going to talk about what Ripple Effect Studio has been working on. They're working on a separate Battlefield experience, a free-to-play Battlefield experience. We're all thinking it's a Battle Royale, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. They are also saying that it's going to be supposedly based in a tropical location in the United States. So I'm thinking maybe like Hawaii or like Florida, California. I really think it's funny that EA and DICE are going down this path again. It doesn't matter that Firestorm from Battlefield 5 failed or Hazard Zone in 2042 was like an utter disaster. EA and their corporate greed must do everything in their power just to get a dollar and follow trends. Battlefield back in the day really didn't need a Battle Royale. In fact, it was a very successful product without that. It was its own independent game. The crazy part is, let's just pretend that they are successful on their quest to make a decent Battle Royale. I think the potential, honestly, is there. And it can bring in a whole new player base to the franchise, which in turn would potentially boost the multiplayer and also make them more money. So we're talking about like what Warzone did for Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers on this, but let's just say it doubled their player base and it brought in this whole new community. It, increased their sales for skins, and it just brought a whole new people into the franchise. And I think with FPS gaming specifically being in such a low point, if they manage to actually get it correct, a polished Battle Royale with working inputs and, good gameplay aspects, it could be a very successful product. Let's pause real quick and take a look at Delta Force. They essentially have two separate communities that are coming together to play one title. The Battlefield community is there to play the normal Havoc warfare, and then you have the extraction shooters / creators playing their own separate mode, essentially doubling the player count on this free-to-play game. This only works because the game at its core is solid. It's not half-assed, which is normally how Battlefield does these Battle Royale or these extraction modes. So if, like I said, if they're able to just provide a 7 out of 10 product for the Battle Royale, it has, in my opinion, some extreme potential. Shifting our focus back to the multiplayer of the next Battlefield game, they have confirmed we will be going back to 64 players, which is phenomenal. I already know the maps are going to be way better because they're going to be less open, less exposed, less vehicle focused. So I think already the maps are going to be 10 times better, and also the in-game performance, crossplay, all these aspects, everything's going to work and be more polished overall just because we are not dealing with that 128 player nonsense. Speaking of maps, they are aiming for 10 maps at launch, which is comparable to Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Battlefield 1. So this is all sounding really, really nice. But wait, there's more. They have said that urban combat will be the focus of some of these maps. I'm sure there will be some more open scale maps, but urban combat is the verbiage that they use specifically, with a nice blend of vehicle variety mixed in. See, that to me just sounds wonderful. I'm thinking like Grand Bazaar, you know, you've got the inner urban streets with the outside ring of the map for vehicle play. That's how Battlefield's supposed to be. I love, like, if you watch my channel frequently, you know I focus my gameplay on infantry, but that doesn't mean I don't like vehicles in Battlefield. It's just the 2042 situation is just so vehicle focused. The maps are so poorly designed that it's almost like we've forgotten what good gameplay, good maps are actually like. So I think moving forward in Battlefield 2025, I think the hardest, most difficult part of this game is going to be providing good maps. There's also been a lot of talk in the community about destruction. Now, personally, I love destruction. It was one of the things that really kind of brought me in with Battlefield 3 back in the day, because it just really separated itself from a lot of the other games on the market. And that's something that is just completely absent in 2042 or in some of the more modern Battlefield games, is just that complete lack of destruction. It's not that it's, and just to be clear, I don't want to be able to flatten the map, okay? But being able to break open a wall and, you know, flank an enemy, or it's to me, it's about being creative with how you approach a certain situation. So they have confirmed that there will be improved scale and destruction. And so that to me sounds fantastic on paper. I just don't want it to, again, I don't want it to be too much. There is such a thing as too much destruction. And also I don't want it to take away from performance. So to me, that's very important. Kind of continuing on with that destruction topic, they have confirmed caliber-based destruction. So essentially, higher caliber weapons do more damage to objects. So if you shoot a 7.62 at a concrete block, it's going to leave a bigger hole. If you shoot a 5.56 round or a 9mm round or something smaller, it's going to leave a smaller hole. So I think this is something really cool. I'm not sure how exactly it's going to affect gameplay. Maybe there'll be some semi-destructible, like wood planks or something that you can shoot through easier with a 7.62 compared to like a 9mm round. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to play that, but caliber-based destruction does sound like a cool aspect into the game. Since we're on the topic of bullets and caliber, let's go ahead and talk about weaponry. So from what I'm reading, they're looking at about 40 to 45 primary weapons at the launch of Battlefield 2025. And keep in mind, that is double 2042's launch weapons. So we're already off to a great start content-wise. I'll be very curious. I haven't seen anything about like how many vehicles we can expect. But just having a wide variety of weapons to choose from on day one sounds super refreshing. Let me know also what kind of weapons you would like to see in the next Battlefield game. For me personally, modern weapons like the AK-47, the M4. I'm a big G36 guy. I've always loved that weapon. So just having that nice variety just sounds super refreshing. I'm very excited to see what weapons they put in the game. From what I read in this article, we can expect the setting of this game to be set somewhere between 2027 and 2030. And to me, that sounds perfect. We can expect up-to-date modern weaponry and modern vehicles and modern gadgets and equipment. So I think that this setting will be perfect because people, from what I have seen online in subreddits and Twitter posts, people want Battlefield 3.5 or they want Battlefield 4.5. And this setting between 2027 and 2030, as long as they don't go overboard with like futuristic stuff, I think this will be perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some fantastic news. Specialists are gone. That's right. We're going back to the traditional class system, back to the way things should be. And I think that this is a huge sigh of relief for many players, including myself. I just want to go back to the classic Battlefield 3 soldier. There's no names like Webster McKay and like I don't want any of that. Just let me be some random guy. Let me and And also, they can go crazy with customization here. Let me change his boots. Let me change his pants. Let me put a knife on his chest. Let me give him like some belt, like ammo belts to carry on his shoulders. Let me customize his helmet. Let me have a skull like face to put on him. Like, I think the customization here gives them a real opportunity since they're taking away the specialist. I would really like to see how in depth they're going to go with this, but it's just so nice that they're going back to the class system. This is fantastic news in my opinion. I just think going back to the basics is the right way to approach this game. Just get your core fan base back and attract new players at the same time, because Battlefield at its core is a fantastic game. Some final details here. They are potentially adding body dragging. So this is going to probably be like a battle royale kind of focus here, but it's going to help with revives. You get downed in the open, and your teammate can drag you behind cover to revive you. As a streamer / creator, this could potentially be used for trolling purposes. So, that's, got to keep an eye on that. But I could see this being useful. I'm not really against it. We'll see how it plays out. They have also claimed that this game has been tested for over a year. So it sounds great on paper, but I just get flashbacks from 2042 where they're just telling us it's like way ahead of schedule. So I hope that they aren't going to eat those words and this becomes like the next meme for this game. On a positive side, they have said that early next year, 2025, we can expect a community test environment. So I'm hoping that they'll allow not just creators, but regular people who play the game as well to get into the game early and just play it and basically provide data for the developers to improve the game before it launches. This is what they need to do. They need to get people in there, as many players as they can, to play this game early on to see where it needs to be fine-tuned and tweaked and improved. And that way, hopefully, when the game comes around to like doing a beta or whatever, like the game will be just, ready to go, and we can actually start having some good publicity and some hype being built up around this game. So that way, when it launches, that, we're looking at 1 million viewers on Twitch and the game's popping off. I haven't seen any post-launch content schedule, so hopefully they don't just like give us the 45 guns and then like that's it. There's no, further additions or seasons or whatever, like however they're going to play that. Granted, we're still pretty early on, so I can't really expect them to be providing us with like their post-launch calendar. I totally get that. That's completely understandable. But from the sounds of most of this information, I think the developers are headed in the right direction. Only time will tell. I'm no game developer, but I just want Battlefield to go back to the basics and what made the franchise so great to begin with. A cinematic atmosphere, polished UI, engaging maps, quality content overall to keep the players on the grind for thousands of hours. The Battlefield formula is pretty straightforward if you ask me, and it's all going to come down to execution. That's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this discussion about Battlefield 2025. I'm not a game developer, and I certainly don't have the answers to everything, but I can talk about these topics from the perspective of someone who plays FPS games at a higher level than most. So I would like to think that I have some positive ideas to contribute. I absolutely love reading your comments and having further discussion about these topics, so please let me know what you think about the next game. I really appreciate y'all watching. Please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Is that a... God, I didn't see the guy in the fucking lower part. Oh, they're locked in down here, bro. I mean, not a terrible game. GG's, man. GG's.